Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me as we talk about Unbullied. Let's get unbullied. The unspoken effects of bullying in the undefined centers. As you're all hopping on, drop a message in the chat box, say hi, tell me where you're from. We'll wait a minute or two before we kick this off. I hope you're having great weather there. We are freezing cold here, but it's all good. I see, I think the name has been cut off. It says Trisha. She says, I'm so glad you're talking about this. I have an open crown and undefined Ajna, feeling the effects of psychological bullying. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I hope this helps you today. You're in Canada. I'm in Canada. Hello, fellow Canadian. Okay. I think we have around 15 people on board. Let's get this show on the road. Okay. We are going to talk about Unbullied, the undefined centers, the unspoken effects of bullying. Let's see what's on the menu today. I'm going to talk a little bit about me, just a little bit so you know who this person is behind this face. What is bullying? What are the known effects of bullying? Known because we all know about it, right? And then we're going to talk about the science of the undefined centers. And let's marry the two and talk about the challenge, the effect, and the solution by each center. And then we will put some time in for questions and answers at the end. Okay, hello everybody. My name is Kalyani. I'm from Canada. I am an author, an EFL teacher, quantum human design specialist, and a CPA in true style of being a time bender, not doing just one thing. And I am also mom to these two imprints of my DNA. Why am I the expert on bullying? Basically, I suffered bullying at every stage of my life. In school, in the workplace, and within family. And I got so sick and tired of it until I finally said, you know what, enough is enough. And I started developing techniques to help me not only combat the bullying, but to actually build self-confidence. And I'm going to just touch a bit on this about toxic positivity and how I overcame that too. Fun facts, my name means blessing in Sanskrit, and I speak 4 languages, again, in true time bender style. Okay, what is bullying? I absolutely love Karen's definition of bullying, or not just bullying, but trauma. She talks about it in trauma. It's anything that makes you feel unloved, not accepted, not enough, incomplete. And what ends up happening is that a person who undergoes these feelings, these traumas, they end up having what I like to call energy leaks, literally holes in their energy field where they have energy leaks. And because they're looking to be loved, to be accepted, to be validated, to be approved of, to be seen, to be heard, they may engage in what I like to describe as unhealthy behaviors to get that from their external environment, because that trauma made them feel that they're somehow not enough. So let's talk about the known effects of bullying. Now everyone knows these, but let's just touch on it. Depression and anxiety. You know, I suffered depression countless times in my life because of bullying. I openly admit that I had suicidal thoughts for 2 years when I was bullied by people I trusted. You feel lonely, you feel sad, you really feel unseen and unheard. It's like nobody sees you, nobody sees what you're going through. People promise to be there. They say, that was something that happened a lot with me, is like someone would say, oh, call me anytime, and you call and they're not available. It's a really lonely place to be. It's hard to be in this space. Lack of sleep or sleeping too much. eating less or emotional eating. It can go either way. For me, I used to sleep a lot. I used to sleep a lot, and I indulged in emotional eating when I was going through bullying. Basically, a loss of interest in activities, that you used to enjoy. Whatever you love doing, you just don't like it anymore. You don't get joy out of it anymore. You shut down. And then we'll talk also about health complaints, headaches, nausea, body aches. All of this is actually just the trauma residing in our physical body because we don't know how to release this trauma in a healthy way. I see people are posting comments. I will get to them at the end. And then for students, their grades will fall. Unfortunately, it does affect the academic performance. And if they're in sports also, that performance too. Bullying is really, really horrible. Okay, so let's talk about the science of the undefined centers. The undefined centers absorbs energy from people, planets, the environment, and then amplifies it. It is a very wise thing, but at the same time, while we get to enjoy learning about energy that is not true to us, we have to be careful that we don't end up identifying with that energy. I really like the flag in the wind analogy. So basically, if we think about a flag that's flapping in the wind, it's not the wind, but it takes on the energy of the wind and it's flapping away. The flag may think it's the wind, but it isn't. And as soon as the wind dies down, the flag is still. And that's how the undefined centers work. We absorb energy in and we amplify it. So let's have a look at the effects of bullying in the undefined centers using this analogy. And how would this aggravate trauma in a child who's experiencing bullying? The head center challenges. Now, I have an undefined head, undefined Ajna as well. So the undefined head center, we absorb energy from our external environment, from people, planets, and the external environment. And we're always under pressure to find answers, like, what's the answer to this? I need to know this. I need to figure this out. And I was like that. I was like that hamster on a wheel. I was always trying to figure things out. And that was very frustrating for me. It was really frustrating. So how would this affect a child who's being bullied? Let's have a look. They may have thousands of ideas of how they can put an end to this bullying, but they cannot come up with one fixed choice. It's like that hamster on a wheel, like thousands of things going. What should I do? What should I do? How about this? What about that? The Open Head Center has a beautiful interface with the universe, the divine, God, whomever you believe in, your higher power. And I learned this through my studies of human design, that instead of trying to figure it out, ask open-ended questions. And I've used this technique to figure so much out in my life. And the longest it's taken for me to get the answer was a week. Usually I get the answers within 24 hours. But what ends up happening is children who are being bullied use this Open Head Center in the wrong way. They kind of say, what did I do wrong? Why am I being targeted? What have I done to deserve this? What is wrong with me? Why? And it hurts. It hurts so, so deeply. So how can we help a child who's being bullied? They have the Undefined Head Center. Teach them to ask these open-ended questions. What would it take for me to stay true to myself in my own energy? What would it take for this bullying to stop permanently? What would it take? What would it take for me to speak up for myself? Now, the most important thing with these questions is once they ask these open-ended questions to their higher power, don't look for the answer in inspiration. The inspiration is not going to come like a download in your head. It's going to come from the external environment. It might be an ad on a billboard. It might be anything. Just sharing one of my own personal experiences, which was really beautiful. I was at a crossroads after I published my book in August last year. I won an award for it this year. And then in June, I was like, okay, what next? What next? I didn't realize I had an undefined head center. I kept asking, what next? What next? What can I do with this? What's something more I can do with this? And I kid you not, wherever I looked, it was like human design on my Facebook feed, human design, human design, human design. I was like, okay, let's investigate into this. I didn't even realize I was using my undefined head center in the way it's been designed to be used. So remember, the answers come in the external environment, not through inspiration. How can I consistently feel confident and at peace? Maybe it's crazy to ask these questions, but it will give them the answers that they seek. The Ajna. I also have an undefined Ajna. So someone with the undefined Ajna tends to see all sides of the story. It is a blessing and it can be a curse at the same time. So yin yang, a bit of both. So they're fixed ideas and beliefs, not really very pliable to change. Let's have a look at how this would show up in a child who's being bullied. They may end up feeling sorry for the bully. They have empathy for their perpetrator because they see all sides of the story. And that may lead them to blaming themselves for what is going on. That, oh, I shouldn't have done this. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. My daughter was talking to me about a friend of hers who has been friend with another girl since kindergarten, and they're in grade 8 now. And my daughter said, you know, the other friend is being so nasty, passively aggressive to her friend. And she says, Mom, she's always making excuses. She's always making excuses for the other person, saying, well, maybe I should have done this. Or maybe I came on too strong. Maybe I. And they end up blaming themselves. So questioning themselves, oh, maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have said that. You know, a lot of self-doubt around the undefined Ajna. Then they may downplay the trauma because they really just don't want to bring attention to it and saying, well, no, you know, I shouldn't have done this, and maybe they are right. Maybe I need to change this about myself. It's not so bad. You know, I'm glad they brought it to my attention. I really need to change this about myself. So they may also have fixed ideas on how to deal with the bullying. They may not be open to new ideas because they've been told this way works. Let's just do it this way. You know, because no one has tried the new method, so they don't have the proof that it works. So they're going to stick with, well, everybody says do this, and this works. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for them, or it hasn't, right? So how can you help? Offer a safe, non-judgmental space to talk. I think one of the most important things I really want to mention here, and I know this may be hard, and please just listen with an open heart. When your child comes to you and says, I shouldn't have done that. That was so stupid of me. Like, why am I so stupid? Why am I so stupid? It makes me so angry that I'm so stupid. Please, 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 please don't tell them. Don't call yourself that. You're not stupid. I know it's natural to want to do that, but you're going to shut your child down from talking. You're going to stop them from talking. Validate them. And I'm going to show you how to validate them. Okay. When they say, I am stupid and I'm so angry, say, I can understand why you feel that way. If I were in your shoes, I would probably feel the same way. When you identify with what they're feeling, they will not shut down. They will keep talking to you. And that's what you want. You want to offer them that safe space where they can literally say whatever they need to say, whatever they want to say. I think, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, we have been conditioned to suppress negative feelings because it's not a good thing to say. If we say something negative, we attract something negative. But ultimately, if we suppress those negative feelings, it shows up in different ways. Even in our physical body, it shows up. So it's very, very, very important to release it, to let them say what they need to say and validate them, but in a way where you're not agreeing with them, but you're saying, I can understand why you would feel that way. That is the key. That's what changes everything. Ask them, what techniques have they used to date to combat this bullying? What have they done? I think it is so important to recognize that they have made the effort, that they have tried something. Instead of saying, well, did you do this? Well, you should have done that. Just ask them. It's when you start asking questions, the child feels seen and heard and is ready to talk. Even if they say, I don't know, and I say, that's okay. Let's talk about it. It's okay. One of my favorite things to say here is, especially if your child is seeing all sides of the story and saying, well, maybe the bully was right. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. Remind them that you cannot feel better by making others feel worse. Happy people do not wake up in the morning and say, woohoo, I am so happy. I'm just going to go and hurt somebody today because that feels so good. No, it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. Hurt people, and incidentally, healed people heal people, which is why I do what I do. So help them recognize that, while it's kind to have empathy for the bully, that bully can't make themselves feel better by making you feel worse. So that's a very, very important reminder. The throat center challenges. Recognition. If you have an undefined throat, you struggle with recognition, you struggle to be seen and heard, you struggle to own the truth. You feel unheard, you feel unseen. So let's have a look. Child's being bullied, undefined throat. And my daughter has the undefined throat, and she actually recently went through cyberbullying. So actually not recently, it's been a year. Huh. Okay, time flies. I'll talk about it after I share this information. Refusal to open up. My daughter was the sort of person that she would kind of suffer in silence and really just not talk about what was going on. And I am an emotional empath, so I could actually literally feel what she was feeling. And I would say to her, hey, kiddo, what's going on? Let's talk about it. How was school today? Let's talk. They feel invisible. They don't know how to speak up for themselves, so they feel invisible. They withdraw within themselves. Now, I saw this with my own daughter when she was being cyberbullied last year, and this too by a friend who she's been friends with from elementary school. They were commenting, posting on TikTok, and it was really hard on her. We went out to a restaurant for dinner, and she just literally, I choke up when I remember this. She just put her head down. It was like her favorite meal, and she won't eat it. She just put her head down. And I said to her, honey, we will sort this out. We will do this together. She really wanted to speak up for herself, but she didn't know how to. And we worked through it, and it was sorted within 24 hours. And I'll share more about that again at the end. So you might also find it might be a little bit of attention-seeking behavior. Again, I see this in my daughter. She's a gorgeous girl, but then she gets into, especially when she's being bullied, she gets into this attention-seeking behavior where she'll stand and like throw punches and just get mad at my husband. And it was just that, see me, hear me, I am here, look at me, feel my energy. That's what it's actually all about. So how can you help? Invite them to share, just say, okay, I'm listening, talk to me. Ask questions, simple questions, so you had this today, what happened? How was things with this friend? You gotta break that shell a little bit, break the ice a little bit. But it's so important that you invite them to talk. Be prepared for what I love to call explosive verbal diarrhea. They have not been invited to share up to now. And when they start talking, it might be hard to get them to stop. And that's okay. Let them blabber. Let them blabber. They need to blabber. And as they are blabbering, validate, validate, validate. And again, I'm going to say, if they say, oh, that was so dumb of me, just say, I can understand why you felt that way. So important to say, yes, I understand. If I were in your shoes, I would have felt the same way. I totally get it. Let them know that you're on their team. One of the things I always say to my kids, whenever they come to me with anything that's going on, I'm on your team. I got your back. I've got you. Trust me. I've got you. Avoid interrupting. Avoid it, avoid it, avoid it. If you have questions, make mental notes, but avoid interrupting, because that, again, it'll make them feel unseen and unheard. I know my daughter absolutely hates being interrupted. She'll like literally look at us with this look on her face. So I have learned, because she takes pauses to think before she speaks, I've learned to wait, just to wait. Let her speak, let them speak. Just give them that safe space to talk. See them, hear them. See them, hear them. I cannot emphasize how important this is. Look them in the eye, hold them, hug them. My 13-year-old absolutely hates hugs, but she loves them, but she will not admit that she wants one. And I will just go and hug her. She may just stand there with her arms down. That's okay. It's not going to stop me from showing my love. That's so, so important. One of the things I remember reading is that when a child is going through trauma, sometimes they just need that, touch their hand, hold their hand, tuck the hair behind the ear, just that little comforting parental love, loving touch. Okay, the identity center challenges. Self-doubt. People with the undefined G center struggle with self-doubt. They really, really struggle. They cannot make decisions. They're absolutely indecisive about things, and that's okay. That is true to their nature. They question their lovability, and that is really hard, especially for a child. They wonder, can I be loved? Can I really be loved? So let's have a look at a child who's being bullied. They'll be in denial about what's going on. They will actually be in denial. It's like, it's easier to say, nah, it's fine. It's all good. I'm fine. They question themselves. And again, it's this whole thing of, okay, you know what? Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have worn that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should have kept a low profile. And that's really, really hard on a child to doubt themselves, to be in denial, to question themselves. And this leads to inaction. They will not take any action because they're questioning themselves and they're in denial about what's happening. It's either easier just to keep a low profile and, you know what, not going to get involved. It's okay. And one of the things I have seen is that because they have the undefined G center, the identity center, they may take on the personality of the bully and have bullying tendencies in themselves. Something to be very, very, very careful about. How can we help? Inner circle. Ask them about the inner circle. Are they actually happy there? Their environment. Are they really happy? What joy do they get out of it? What are the good things about it? What are the not so great things about it? The more we get them to open up about their environment and talk about it, the more we'll understand their struggles in that environment, and we can help them adjust whatever is necessary in that environment. The school environment, if they're being bullied in school, be prepared to change schools. I changed schools 3 or 4 times, actually. because of the school environment. And I have a defined G center, incidentally, because it was like, no, I don't like the energy here. I'm good. I'm being bullied here. I don't like this. I need to move on. And even though it was difficult for me to convince my parents at that time, I stood my ground. And I think it's so important to pay attention to the environment your child is in. So important. And if you need to change schools 10 times, change schools 10 times. Watch out for bullying tendencies. You know, are they actually taking on the personality of the bully, acting out towards a sibling, you know, towards other kids they play with, younger ones, towards parents. Keep an eye out for these things. It's so important. Lovability, because they question whether they're lovable or not. I think, and I learned this from Sarah Longoria, it's something I actually started saying to my children is, and I encourage you to say it to them, I love you when you're angry. I love you when you mess up. I love you when you're sad. I love you when you're happy. I love you when no one else does. I love you always, 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 no matter what. This is a mantra I say to my children every night. Every night. I love you always, 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 no matter what. Just touching a bit again on validating how they feel. My son, when I was walking him to school the other day, he said to me, Mom, I know I shouldn't feel this way, but this thing triggers me. And I said, why do you feel you shouldn't feel that way? Why are you denying what you feel? It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to be enraged. It's okay. Please do not stifle how they feel by saying that, okay, I know you're angry, but let's calm down here a bit. Don't say calm down. It's like, let it out. Because that's the only way that children will know you are their safe space. You are their safe space. The will center. Now, I have the undefined will center, so I relate to this very, very well. Worth and value. You will find that people with the undefined will center, and I have been guilty of it my whole life until I became aware of it, is that they're always trying to prove their worth and value. They struggle to feel worthy and value just as they are. For me, I used to try and attach my worthiness and my value to my achievements. I did not know how to be worthy and valuable just the way I was, just this human being sitting here, this face, these ears, these eyes, this nose, this mouth. I did not know, I did not know how to do it. And I engaged in proving my worth and value to people around me. I would only feel valuable if I did X, Y, Z. It also made me struggle to receive. So if somebody gave me a gift, I would bend over backwards to try and repay them for the gift. And I have learned, and it's something I would love to teach children, is that when you receive a gift and you have the undefined will, the ultimate repayment for that gift is to just use it and enjoy it. That's the best way, because the person who gave it to you will say, oh, wow, they're actually enjoying it. That's what it's all about. And then comparison and self-judgment. I was guilty of it too. It's like, why can't I be like XYZ? I was really hard on myself. I remember so many people telling me, why are you so hard on yourself? Why are you so hard on myself? This is why, people. It's the undefined will center. It was so hard to overcome this. And just being okay with messing up, because you're not messing up, you're learning. It's always a first attempt in learning. Okay, let's have a look at what effect this would have on a child who is being bullied. They question their worth and value. So now they're being bullied, so they're thinking, well, you know what? What's the point? What's the point? Why bother? Nobody values me. I'm worthless. I'm a piece of crap. That's the kind of stuff that they will be asking themselves, right? and it affects their self-esteem and their self-confidence. I was guilty, and like I said, I was going to touch on this toxic positivity. My self-esteem and my self-confidence was shot because of the bullying that I faced. And I became guilty of toxic positivity. What toxic positivity is I had a garden that was full of weeds, and I started planting flowers in them, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of flowers. So you couldn't see those weeds. But you know what? Weeds have a tendency of rearing those ugly heads out, because I did not want to admit that I was struggling with low self-esteem and low self-confidence. When I was in college, I started playing for my university badminton team. I was ranked second in the entire university. I was second runner-up in the InterVarsity Queen competition. I was nominated for the Student Representative Council, and there were more than 10,000 students there. So these were these huge things that I went for, because I was putting all my worth and value on things that I achieved and not who I was. And I was planting these flowers to hide the low self-esteem and low self-confidence. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of water here. Hydrate. And then the other thing is overcompensating. When you have that low self-esteem and low self-confidence, you overcompensate in everything for everyone else except you. You overforgive, you let go of so much stuff. You just say, it's okay, it was my fault. I shouldn't do this, maybe I'm not worthy enough and I need to work harder on my worthiness. So we tend to overcompensate in relationships, in friendships, even with family members. Negative self-talk. Oh, my favorite one. Now, the most important thing, and I've learned this, is yes, there's a lot of negative self-talk. It's like, oh, I don't like this about myself. I don't like this about myself, and this is horrible. That is pointless, unless if you're using EFT tapping to release that. And that's how you weed your garden so that you can plant the flowers. It's okay to have the negative feelings, but flush it out of your physical body, people. Flush it out. I cannot emphasize how important this is. I started flushing all of this negativity, all this low self-esteem, low self-confidence. And I'm telling you, my life started changing like this. Like literally within weeks, things started showing up. The more I focused on loving myself after weeding out the ugly stuff, it became so easy. It became incredibly easy. So let's talk about children, how we can help them. Your source of worth and value, and this is so hard to teach to a child. I know that because it was so hard for me to learn as an adult. It doesn't come from your achievements, people. It's not from your grades. It is not from your sports achievements. It is not anything to do with anything outside of you. It has to do with you, who you are, as you are. And I love Karen for saying this, that we are a cosmic event, people. Isn't that worth and value enough? That if you think about the science behind your conception, it's remarkable. It's remarkable. You are a miracle. You are the source of your own worth and value. Our experiences may make us doubt that, but our experiences just being that our meanings need to change. Talk about that a little bit later. Be a mirror to your child. Share with them what you love about them. Make sure you don't attach it to their achievements. I love your smile. I love the way your eyes light up when you see me. I love the way you eat ice cream. I love the way you teach me how to smile. I love that you care so much about everyone around you. I love that you love so much. Be that mirror. Help them see that they are so worthy, so incredibly worthy, because they are. I am worthy because I am. Simple as that. Journal. I encourage your children to journal. I did not like journaling. I started journaling. just things that I love and appreciate about myself that are not attached to my achievements. And I was so used to doing that. I'm telling you, it was like, oh, I did this. This is something I should be proud of. I am proud of being me. I am proud of showing up as me. And that's the most important thing, because like Dr. Seuss says, there's no one youer than you. So please, please just teach your child that there is no one youer than you. And that in itself is a miracle. Code phrases of the heart. I love it. Now, I don't have my notes in front of me, so I'm going to wing this one. I am love, I am compassionate, I am serving. And those three are my favorite ones. Read them with your child every night, every single night. I am this, I am love, I am serving, I am compassionate. I would love to say, I respect myself. I respect myself. I honor myself. I trust myself. It is safe to be me. It is an honor to be me. This is so important, people. The ESP, emotional solar plexus. I have the undefined emotional solar plexus. I am an emotional empath. The challenges, we always put others ahead of us. Self-sacrifice, a lot of self-sacrifice. People-pleasing, especially if you have the undefined ESP and the undefined will, which I do. I engaged in a lot of people-pleasing to prove my worth and value to people around me. Big no-no, but I learned the hard way. Avoiding confrontation. Now, when we avoid confrontation is we want to keep the peace. And in keeping the peace, we start a war inside ourselves, which we don't recognize, because we just say, well, we won't rock the boat. We'll just keep the peace. It's all good. I got this. No, it's hard, but I'm learning as I go along to raise confrontations, because it's okay, because I'm just being me, and it's safe to be me, people. It is safe to be me. Repeat after me. It is safe to be me. And of course, being the emotional empath, we absorb everybody's feelings, and it's so hard to stay in our own emotional lane, people. We're always hopping lanes. It's like, well, that hit me. Yeah, it's pretty scary. So let's talk about a child who's being bullied. They end up having unintentional empathy for their bully. It's like, well, maybe they're going through a rough time, and maybe they just needed an outlet. And it's okay that they said what they did to me. They struggle to set boundaries, healthy boundaries. I'm going to talk about healthy boundaries super quick over here. I just want to keep an eye on the time. Okay, healthy boundaries. How do you know if a boundary is healthy? For a child, tell them if setting that boundary makes you feel guilty, then it is a healthy boundary. Because we are conditioned to stay in our comfort zones and do things that make us feel comfortable and safe. Silence, choosing not to speak up because we don't want to rock the boat. Let's see, what can we do to help? Recognize this behavior when they're feeling sorry for their bully, especially when they're making excuses for them. Well, maybe this, maybe that. I used to always make excuses for people, always. And I'll just say, well, I'm being unfair on the other person because I'm not giving them a fair chance. This is debatable, and you're welcome to agree with me, but I feel that if somebody messed up once, that should be a warning bell right there, right? Keep that in mind. They may be avoiding formal channels to talk to teachers, anyone that can help with the bullying. See if they're making excuses to avoid these formal channels. Very important. Communication is key, people. Talk, listen. You will know this if you communicate openly with your child. We live in a time right now where everyone's on their phones, everyone's rushing, everyone's doing everything. And we don't stop, we don't pause, we don't take that time with our children. I'm not saying everyone does this. I've been guilty of it. And I've paused a lot, especially like when they're trying to talk to me and I'm trying to cook or trying to whip up lunch, something. And I've learned that, okay, lunch can be like 10 minutes late. It's okay. I'm sitting down. I'm looking at you. Talk to me. I'm listening. Observe their behavior. Observe how they are around other people. And bring their attention to it and say, okay, I saw that, you know, you were, you know, empathizing with this person. Explain it to me. Talk to me about it. Don't say they did it wrong. Just say, oh, I found that interesting. Talk to me about it. Don't say it was right or wrong because they'll shut down. Just say, talk to me about it. It was interesting. That opens up the door. Tell them to reconnect with their own emotional energy. Spend time alone in their own room to reconnect with their own emotional energy. My son has an undefined emotional solar plexus, and he'll say to me, Mom, I just need some time alone. And I'll say, okay, why don't you go to your room and listen to meditation? And he does that, and then he's fine again. Okay, the root center challenges. Under pressure. Under pressure. Sorry, I had to. Okay, people, it's just like the head center. It is under pressure. It is a pressure center. So let's get this done quickly and get out of here, man. I just want to be free of this pressure. I don't like it. It's ugly. The desire to achieve. So there is a desire to achieve because we want to achieve something. We want to get it done quickly, but then we feel the pressure. Let's look at the challenges that would show up in a child. This one is very, very interesting for me. My daughter has a friend. It's so amazing. I get so many examples from my daughter's friends. She is 13. She's an overachiever. And in every area, this child is an overachiever. My daughter said to me, Mom, when she was in elementary school, she was bullied. Every year she was bullied. And I said to my daughter, I haven't pulled her chart, but I bet she has an undefined root. And they're overachievers because they did not win against the bully. So they want to win in every other area of their life. It's like, I'm going to win at this. I'm going to win at this. You know, the bully may have gotten the better of me there, but not this time. I got this. I'm going to achieve. And they're under pressure to excel in every area of their life because for them, that's winning against the bully, which can lead to burnout. And I really want to bring this up for teachers who may be watching, is that they may misinterpret this overachieving child as someone who can be challenged to achieve more. Keep an eye out for that. You know, if a child is overachieving, make sure they're not burning out. Make sure they don't need to be challenged any further than they're already being challenged. So how can we help? Achievements at what cost? They're achieving all of this, but what cost is it? Are they, you know, not getting enough sleep? Are they tired all the time? Weakened immune system, stuff like that. You know, they're getting all these achievements. What's the cost of it? How much downtime are they getting? You know, literally investigate your child's schedule. Be that spy, be that James Bond. Look at it. It's like, how much downtime do they actually have? Do they have fun? Do they have fun? I'm telling you, kids these days have forgotten how to have good old-fashioned fun. Just fun. You know, doing things like sledding, rollerblading, playing hockey, just goofing around. Help them set healthy boundaries. And I mentioned earlier, a healthy boundary is one that makes us feel guilty. And we feel guilty. Why, people? Because we have been designed to always stay within our comfort zones. And guilt is a feeling that pushes us out of our comfort zone. Is your child bulldozing through work? Keep an eye out, guys. Be that spy. Be that spy. You know, are they bulldozing through their work, or are they, you know, teach them to slow down? It's okay. It's okay. My daughter has an undefined root. One of the things that I do with her, she was telling me the other day, Mom, I've got so much homework. I've got so much homework. I said, okay, let's sit down and look at it. One piece of homework was due only today. The others are due in 2 weeks' time. I said, you've got 2 weeks. Don't put pressure on yourself. Do the one you're supposed to do now. We'll do the rest later. And again, overemphasis on, we are a team. We do this together. We're in this together. I got your back. Got your back. The Spleen Centre challenges. We are sensitive and intuitive if we have the undefined spleen. Fear. We are overcome by fear. It is where fear resides. Refusal to let go. We hold on to things far longer than we need to because we don't know how to let go. Okay, let's talk about a child who's being bullied. They're so afraid to take action. You know, fear of retaliation, fear of being unheard, fear of it being downplayed, fear of, like for me, it was people won't take me seriously. That's what it was, like people wouldn't take me seriously. The fear resulting in low self-confidence. Again, it's like, I'm so afraid of doing this. I'm so afraid of putting one foot in front of the other. And then holding on to toxic friendships because you're so afraid of being alone that you hold on to things far longer than you need to. And then, of course, I would think of Britney Spears' song, Toxic. Sorry, I shouldn't sing. What can you do to help? I don't have my notes in front of me, but I'm going to try my best to remember all of the things. Ask questions about fear. You have to present fear to your child as if it's a person. And you say to your child, here is fear. Fear is this person next to you. What do you want to say to fear? What do you want to say to fear? Tell me, what do you want to say? All your feelings. Okay. Fear stops you from doing what you really want, from pursuing your dreams. What do you want to say to fear? What do you want to say to fear? It's stopping you from going after your dreams. Everything you desire. Fear is standing in front of you. What are you going to say to fear? What are you going to say? How would you feel if fear took away a golden opportunity from you? How would that make you feel? What if fear is just the only thing standing in your way? And on the other side is freedom, is joy. What are you going to say to fear? Fear is just a person. What are you going to say? So important to help your child realize that stepping outside their comfort zone is where freedom lies. On the other side of fear lies freedom. And the most important thing here is give them examples from their own life and say, child, when you started walking, you fell over 100 times. Of course you were afraid of walking, but did that stop you? No. When you were learning how to ride a bicycle, you fell over 100 times. Did that stop you? No. You were afraid, but you felt the fear and you still went through. Just do it. Fear hinders growth and empowerment. So, so true. One of the most important healing lessons I learned recently was around fear and facing the fear I had about openly admitting the negative feelings I carried within my body. And when I was so afraid of admitting those feelings, I was afraid I was going to attract more of it. But my massive growth happened when I actually admitted how I was feeling, and I tapped through it. I didn't just admit it, I did EFT tapping to clear those feelings. The Sacral Center challenges. Okay. They have no access to consistent energy. Not knowing when enough is enough. Boundaries again, people. A child who is being bullied. Now, I have a defined sacral. When I was being bullied, I was mentally and physically exhausted, even though I have a defined sacral. I remember coming back home from boarding school, and I would wake up at 7 in the morning after sleeping all night. 9 o'clock in the morning, I'd fall asleep again. And I wouldn't wake up until I was woken up at lunchtime, and I would still be tired. It's exhausting because we struggle to set boundaries. We don't know when enough is enough. We just keep trudging forward, thinking, okay, it's going to end if I just put another foot in front of me. It doesn't work that way, people. Sometimes we do need to pause. Look for signs of burnout. please. You know, weakened immune system, excess fatigue, just wanting to nap all the time. My daughter has an undefined sacral, and even when she was bullied, and especially when she was bullied, she used to sleep a lot, and I let her. I absolutely let her. She's a teenager that asks me to take a nap, and I'm saying to her, it's okay, sleep, child. She'll sleep for 3 hours straight in the afternoon and still go to bed at 9 o'clock. Track how things are going with them. You know, their, again, school routine, how tired are they? Their eating patterns, all of that. Keep an eye on it, but especially on their energy. Give them alone time together. My children and I, both of them actually have undefined sacrals. We do a lot of alone time together. So we'll be sitting in the living room, all sitting under blankets because it is so cold in Canada, reading books. Each of us are reading our own books. That's alone together, and it's very refreshing. People, know your kid. Really know your kid. It's so important. No one knows your child better than you do. Look for signs. Pay attention to the smallest detail. I know my children very well. I remember there've been many times, but one particular incident is, I picked my son up after school, and he ran up to me and he hugged me. He always hugs me, but I could feel something different in his hug. And honestly, like, to the next person, it just looked like a normal hug, but I felt something. I said to him, what's wrong? I said, Mom, can I talk to you on the way home? Let's talk. Something had happened. We talked it out, hashed out a solution. He was happy. Healthy boundaries. Again, I'm going to say it. If a boundary makes you feel guilty, it's a good boundary. It's a healthy boundary. Remember that. It's a good sign. Okay, people, let's wrap this up so I can at least get to the questions. Bullying leaves lifetime scars, so we need to do something about it now. Our experiences, human design teaches us that our meanings are often determined by our experiences. And when we go through bullying, it affects our meanings, our worth, our value. Those are meanings, and then it'll attract more similar experiences. So one of the most important things is we need to mold these meanings for our children. I always say it's way easier to mold a child than it is to mend an adult. We can give them far better experiences if we can mold these meanings for them now. So this is the foundation. What next, people? I offer one-to-one masterclasses that cover verbal, social, cyberbullying, physical bullying, and my favorite is the loudspeaker technique, which I used to teach my daughter to speak up for herself, the undefined throat, when she was being bullied. I have workbooks for parents, 10 things that every kid that's been bullied needs to hear. I have a non-quantum human design version and a quantum human design that includes all these centers and all these challenges. So now these workbooks, it gives you examples of things you can say and do, and then it gives you a space where you can come up, knowing your child, knowing your unique situation, using the example, using the concepts to come up with what you need to say to your child. And you can find all of this at kalyanispeaks.com offerings. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing so I can see whatever's itching and burning that needs a scratch. Okay, wow. Okay. Cindy, wow, a number of years I had a fear of being hurt. I have an undefined, but very interesting. I'm so glad you found it interesting. Questions, please.
Yes, there were
talk
some
to me.
questions that came in.
Okay.
When a lot of it has what happens if it's a member of the family, like the parents.
Yes. Wow. Okay, that one hits home, people. That one really hits home. Okay. Unknowingly, yes, I have been bullied by family members, and it's been very, very hard. What's really important, and especially, and I'm assuming I'm speaking to an adult and not a child, because for a child to recognize that a parent is bullying them is very, very, very hard, because this is your primary caregiver. This is the person you depend on. But as an adult, it's so important to recognize that you are not what you are told. You are who you choose to be. Very important. I highly, highly recommend journaling all the negative feelings that come up around the bullying caused by the parent. And I highly recommend that you EFT tap through the negative feelings. And once you're done tapping through the negative feelings, open yourself up to healing and say to the universe, I am ready to let this go. I am ready to heal. Show me how. What would that healing look like? What would it feel like? What would it be like? I am open to receive. But remember, we need to remove the weeds out before we are open to receiving. Cindy, next question, please.
Yes. Melissa asked, thanks for this topic. I have a family member who is married into the family, and her traumas, jealousy of my family brings out her bullying me. She reminds me of bullies from my childhood. Can bullying cause ADHA? When I came back to my signs of ADHA was around the same time when I first experienced bullying outside my household.
Okay. I'm not quite sure what the question is there, Cindy. Sorry.
Well, the question came up, can bullying cause ADHA?
Okay, I'm not honestly qualified to answer that. I would recommend speaking to a doctor. I do know that bullying does trigger a lot of physical and emotional and mental ailments because we are not functioning at the highest expression of ourselves, which is exactly what human design teaches us, to be that highest expression of ourselves. So I want to say yes, but I'm not qualified to say yes. I see one here. What's the line between someone who just bullies you and someone who's a narcissist, pervert, sociopath? Very fine line, I will tell you that. Because someone just doesn't just bully, because something's, there is something inherently wrong. And I don't want to say wrong, there are unmet needs. A person bullies because they have unmet needs. And there are 6 categories. Again, don't have my notes. I'm going to try my best. Love, acceptance, approval, recognition, support, and there's one more. It falls under those 6 categories. If they did not receive those things as a child, that is what triggers that bullying behavior. It is literally a cry for attention. I am here. I think the difference between a sociopath and a narcissist and someone who just bullies is that the bully will feel a little bad about what they're doing, while the narcissist is like, no, it's all about me, man. It's like, this is who I am, and it's your fault, and it's all you. It's not me. The bully does actually feel a sense of something's not right here.
I did have a question.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a question come in on Facebook from Darshini. What if this is an ancestral pattern? Is there a way to break the generational pattern?
Absolutely. I agree. There is. It's EFT tapping. I cannot recommend this enough. Giving a super quick example here. Ancestral patterns, and it affects not only our programming, which affects our mindset, but there's also our coding, which is in our DNA, which affects our experiences. So one very, very good example I can give, which I've actually practiced myself, and it's worked for me, is we're coded as women to believe that periods are painful and they're horrible, and PMS sucks and it's horrible. And I started EF tapping through those feelings, which has been coded in my DNA. And the last period I had was PMS-free, pain-free, and all of that, because I recoded myself to accept that this is just my body releasing the old and welcoming the new. And I celebrate this release. It's like taking the weeds out. You celebrate it. So yes, you can. I highly recommend Sarah Longoria for this. I learned that she has a free 5-day rapid manifestation method. She teaches this, and I've been using this to help deprogram and decode myself.
Now, we did have a question earlier about, are the same things that you said for children, would those work with adults bullying
Yes.
adults?
That's a simple answer. Yes, absolutely yes. It's like hands down, it doesn't change. Human design is human design. It does not change. It does not change people, because ultimately, somewhere along the line, the bullies have unmet needs. They feel inadequate and they're trying. The energy leaks that I talked about, it's like they're trying to plug the energy leaks from outside, but you can't. You got to do it from the inside out.
So I was going to just ask, do you do EFT with your children too?
I'm actually looking to certify in that. I have not, and that's why I don't do it yet, but it's coming.
It's coming. Well, pretty much the rest are comments. It's been that it was wonderful. Oh, Bree just asked, can you explain energy leaks?
Energy leaks. Okay. So just imagine your body's like this big balloon, right? But it's not the kind that pops at a pin, right? But there's a big balloon, right? And you have holes in there. It's filled with water, but it's got holes in there. And that, it's pouring out. It's pouring out. Energy leaks are when you start seeking love, attention, recognition, validation, support, approval. I remember the sixth one, from anything or anyone outside yourself. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. When you start finding this in yourself and giving it to yourself, especially for those who have faced trauma and did not receive these 6 things as a child, when you start healing this, you show up in the world as a complete, full human being, expressing yourself at the highest level, and you attract experiences and people to match that. I hope that helps.
Helps me. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
And Bree says, yes, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Pretty much finishes up. Great presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
final words for us, everyone.
Oh my gosh, love yourselves, people. Love yourselves. Tell yourself it is safe to be me. It is a celebration to be me. I celebrate being me. It is an honor to be me. I am a cosmic event on planet Earth. Please, please remember, it is totally safe to be you. It is an honor to be you. It is disrespectful to be anything but you. Just be yourselves.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I love you guys. Mwah.